So allow me to start. So let me introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Alina Aeby. Do I pronounce correct, Madam?
Yeah, that's
Dr.
correct.
Alina
It's correct.
Aeby.
Thank
Yes.
you.
So today we
Thank
will
you.
speak about PropTech for the future of real estate. We have been learning a lot somehow about this, but today maybe we will learn more because our speaker, Dr. Alina Aeby, is a global advisor on real estate, on PropTech and economic development. And for Dr. Aeby, she is in San Francisco, California now, and I'm in Bangkok. And in this case, you may learn already because I posted in the uh, website already, but allow me to just say that Dr. Aeby has a lot of experience. Indeed, she has a deep understanding of geopolitical and global real estate industry, and also with emphasis in USA, Eastern and Western Europe, Middle East, as well as Asia and Africa. And currently, she is the president of the Global Real Estate Entrepreneur and Advisor based in San Francisco, California. And she also our uh, vice president of uh, World Council of PropTech of our FIABCI. FIABCI is our uh, International Real Estate Federation based in Paris. And she has so many other experience as well that you may see in her post. She also work in Dubai Land Department and also some authors, many authors. And she earned a PhD in economics with emphasis on globalization, Romanian National Academy, and BA in international business on Academy of Economic Sciences in Budapest, Romania. And so our speakers, Dr. Aeby, is an Romanian. Very nice to learn. And she also definitely speak in English, Romanian, French, Italian, and Spanish. Yeah, very great indeed. So today we will talk about this PropTech for future of real estate. Dr. Aeby may kindly present for say 30 minutes or 40 minutes or can be more if you have more in-depth information for us. And then we will have a panel like a Q&A so that anyone who would like to ask any question, you can kindly ask Dr. Aeby on this issue of PropTech. So, Dr. Aeby, you may kindly start. The floor is yours, Madam, please.
Uh, Thank you so much for a very nice presentation, Dr. Sopon. I am really happy to be here with my colleagues, global colleagues, and invited by FIABCI Thailand. And as Dr. Sopon said, that I'm involved in a lot of capacities, and I started as a real estate specialist working in the real estate market in San Francisco, which is very global. And I adopted technology early on in my practice, starting with electronic signatures and contracts, and even virtual staging and other such very very useful platforms and technologies in the industry. And eventually I got more interested in aspects such as smart cities and integrated technologies in real estate transfers and valuation and so on and so forth. I am coming from a very structured and organized market. I do live in real estate. I start in United States. I started my real estate career in United States, even if I'm from Romania. But I did have the great honor and the chance to travel around the world and work with different specialists in different markets. So I could notice the differences, but also the similarities that we're all facing, such as the shortage of housing, which is universal, and thriving to reduce that inequality gap, financing, transfer of properties which are not liquid assets, but they are much more difficult to transfer assets internationally, and all that eventually made me interested in that. So let's start. If you could please mute. I don't have actually. I don't know if I can mute people, but maybe Dr. Sopon. That would be great to mute everybody. Is that possible?
สงสัยจะช็อกอยู่ไม่
Let
รู้
me
ช็อก
see.
จากไอ้รายชื่อเซอร์เวย์หรือว่า after ช็อกจากเบอร์
Yeah. Is that possible to mute everybody? I think so. I appreciate that. Okay. Let's see that. Okay. Okay. Trying to see if everybody can mute. That would be nice. You can see my screen, right? Yeah? Everybody can see my screen, I guess.
Yes, I can see, madam.
Okay, all right, good. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the mute, the everybody muting, because that was a little distracting. Okay, let me. Okay, so what is PropTech? PropTech, or property technology, is the functional bridge between technology and real estate. I think that everybody knows by that. I think we've been using technologies for a long time, but as a term, it's relatively new. Currently, this number is very different. It depends what sources are you looking at. The global PropTech market, it's valued at 40 to 44 billion and forecasted to reach 100 billion by 2030. That is, it could be even more. That is a 13 to 16 estimated growth by compound annual growth rate. And funding the PropTech startups is on a rise. As January 2025 alone, global PropTech startups raised 615 million in funding, with nearly half in the United States, reflecting robust investor confidence in this sector. Established real estate players and venture capitalists alike recognize that PropTech is no longer a niche, it's a global movement, reshaping how we buy, sell, invest, and live in properties, but also the way we build and plan communities and real estate buildings as well. PropTech is not really existing in void, but it's at the intersection of Contech, FinTech, and InsurTech. Most of the time, the Contech aspect is included in the PropTech as being part of the process of the real estate, asset. But you will see those kind of definitions as well. Major technology trends like AI, IoT, big data, VR, AR, and blockchain are redefining how properties are built, transacted, and managed. And real estate firms are embracing digital solutions to improve efficiency and create new value. The industry's digital transformation is fueled by a demand for efficient, data-driven, and user-friendly services as traditional processes modernize. And PropTech startups now attract significant investment, a lot more than they did a few years ago. So if we are to look at the map or at the process of different verticals of PropTech, they tend to pretty much mimic and follow the verticals in the real estate industry, which will be starting from planning and then moving into building phase, transacting, managing properties, govern as well, just because regulations and laws apply at a local level in particular and national level. When we talk about regulating real estate, of course, it's all local. And academia as well. And those are all integral parts of our association, FIABCI as well, because we are a multidisciplinary federation, including all these professions that they are involved in all these aspects of real estate and implicitly of PropTech. So why do we need actually better solutions in real estate? And does real estate need to reform at all? This is actually a question, because we've been noticing that real estate is one of the industries that lags behind in adopting the innovation. Everybody is complaining, all the PropTech founders and technologists are complaining about how resistant real estate is to change, that it's very difficult to adopt different solutions. What problems do we have in the real estate today? And what can we solve with technology? We do have inaccuracy in planning, starting with planning. We do have a problem with waste, environmental problem, access, data. Of course, data is a major problem that eventually spills into financing as well. Financing and mortgaging, screening and assessing, title transferring and recording, long processes in many parts of the world, and informality even of real estate transactions, asset management, efficiency of asset management, bureaucracy. We have a lot of bureaucracy, especially in regulatory field. And integration. The integration is also very important, and it's something that we all aim to make the process more efficient. What technologies do you use in PropTech? Pretty much all the technologies that exist, they could be applied in the real estate sector. Of course, we have AI, which is the darling of everyone these days. Machine learning, digital twins or built environment. We have AR, VR, XR. In the past years, you've heard probably about metaverse. I left it here, but I don't think you've heard much about metaverse in the last few years. We have blockchain technologies, IoT, and NFTs as well, which are tokens. Let's start with the artificial intelligence. How can be used and how it's used, in the real estate process. AI is not actually new. It's not a new concept. It has been used for a while, but I think right now we're entering a new era of AI. We've been using already AI for analyzing data, for matching algorithms, matching buyers with real estate agents, for example, properties lenders and lending algorithms. Most of actually the programs used by major lenders and mortgage processors in the world are algorithmic. You enter information that the borrowers have, and you calculate and apply different risk, policies as well. And you will see if the borrower that solicits a credit, it's qualified or not. But most of it is done through the computer. If you actually assist, or if you look at your mortgage broker, how they do the process, it's pretty much done by algorithms these days. It's not calculated by hand, or it's really very formulaic. Property management as well could be done with AI, or a lot of systems could be introduced with it, from let's say agentic AI or AI, text and interacting and with tenants, for example, if they do have a problem, and detecting the problems that they have and doing a triage to, making sure that you will transfer that particular tenant to the right department. automation, increased productivity, better customer service, and of course, valuation as well, something that Dr. Sopon is very familiar with because he does valuation all day long, and this is his specialty. Machine learning. Machine learning is also very useful in collecting, monitoring, and analyzing data, indexing as well, very useful in lending and insurance processing and underwriting, and property valuations. The Internet of Things. I think that right now, almost every new building in the world or any big portfolio company will have IoT integrated. From smart homes to smart hotels, remote controls, apps on mobile devices, sensors that they can measure intelligently, even and detect even presence in a room, to usage of water or energy and other utilities as well, and saving all that to measuring the right temperature in a room and adjusting that as well. I think IoT is largely used, and it's most likely that you are all familiar with it, and you can see how that changes dramatically the efficiency from single family homes to big portfolios. So it's extremely important also in smart city management, from using IoT at the lights to in the city to safety and so many other uses. Build environment or digital twin. It's technically virtual prototyping, a digital representation of a real system, entity of object, as great uses in construction, simulation, supply chains, 3D building printing as well. And it's important because reduces construction time, errors, and waste. It also improves quality and consumer satisfaction as well. Well, AR, VR, MR, and XR. So those are augmented reality enhances the real world. Virtual reality, immersion in a virtually created world, mixed reality even, combining those two. Extended reality, combining augmented, virtual, and mixed reality. Those are ideal for property visualizations, marketing, enhancing the property features as well, especially in this era when we buy and sell remotely real estate. And I think that the tests that we had during the pandemic proved that this is of great importance. And we were able to continue our activity in real estate, which is a highly interactive type of profession, using this kind of platforms. Blockchain, the properties of distributed ledger technology, which it is and it could be the future of transfer of real estate and financing. It's programmable, it's secure, it's anonymous, it's unanimous, time-stamped, immutable, and distributed. So they are few countries, even if that they adopted the blockchain at government level, like Estonia, for example, where they put the entire government activity on blockchain. And also we see, I mean, I live in the United States, so I'm telling you why it was not possible to completely adopt blockchain in real estate in the United States is because it's a highly regulated market. And each aspect of the real estate transaction and the process is regulated by a different entity. So therefore, you can use private blockchains, but at the national level, at the public level, it was difficult. Why? Just because it's not possible to integrate at the moment. It will be possible in the future, to integrate lending with real estate agent practitioners, with buyers and sellers, for example, and insurance companies, and escrow companies and title companies. All those are integral part of a real estate transaction in the United States, and all those aspects are regulated by different commissioners. Therefore, you have different systems, and it's still complicated because if you are a home buyer or and a borrower in the United States, and let's say you buy a single family home, it's you have to enter in a secure system that the lender requires, another one that the insurance company requires, and then you have the real estate agents who will be those catalysts between all these entities and get the process going. So that's why it's a little bit complicated to have a transaction that's time-stamped and unique on a ledger, and it will have absolutely all these aspects on. But I think we're moving in a new direction. And if the mortgages, securities will be on blockchain, I think that will be very simple to achieve that, in the future. So it could be possible. I would actually be very curious to hear about your experiences and in Thailand as well, and in other parts of the world about the progress of blockchain, because I personally go to a lot of meetings and events here in Silicon Valley, and I hear a lot about it, but the practicality of it, sometimes it's not as easy. So it's something I would love to discuss. Metaverse and NFTs. I think a few years ago you heard a lot about metaverse, which is actually it's a very layered type of structure, but not recently. So it would be a shared immersive virtual world that uses avatars as representation of a real person to navigate the immersed virtual world, which could be an office, an open home, a shopping mall, a meeting, a concert even, but also uses blockchain and NFTs for connectivity, interaction between users, recording transactions, and trading virtual or real assets as NFTs with the use of a smart contract. So you see, to actually achieve that universe, the metaverse, you will need all these other technologies, that they will be layered in such manners that they will make that a interconnected space. And that's why it wasn't very practical yet. So, I mean, when you talk about metaverse, you will have certain aspects of it, and it's mostly the AR and VR aspect, the virtual reality. But when it comes to integrated all these elements, it's a little bit more complicated. So that's why I have not heard much about metaverse recently, but it's possible that will reemerge, and maybe even with other names. What are those non-fungible tokens or NFTs? They are records of digital ownership stored in a blockchain. And in many cases and in many countries, these are considered securities, which requires a special license, from SEC, at least in the United States. They can be minted. They enable authentication of possession, property, or identity, and they can be traded. That's why you probably heard a lot lately about big projects or even an apartment that might not be, that you might have several, buyers. They will buy a piece of that apartment as a co-investment, and it could be done if you tokenize the percentages of the title. Or big projects who can, they could be sold that way as well. So it's very possible. So you might hear some developers who will try to tokenize fractional ownership of their project and sell it such way so they can offer the opportunity to buy smaller pieces of investment, just like you trade shares in a company into a big real estate development. So this is a growing trend. If you remember a few years ago about things like Sandbox or other virtual places where you could buy virtual land, right? It was not actual real asset, but it was virtual land that you could find in some metaverse. And you could develop there, you could resell it. And it was crazy because at the time, there was 2023 or 2022, I think, there was a piece of virtual land property that sold for 2.3 million. And you might be wondering why actually I would buy something that's not tangible, that doesn't exist in real world, and I pay so much money for it. Well, it's another created value. It's like a stock practically, and yeah, it's another way of creating wealth. And some of this are not doing that great right now, but it's something that definitely it's here to stay, and they will be reinvented and they will reappear in other ways. So I think it's something to be seen why we should buy virtual land versus buying real world land, but it's another thing that you can do. Otherwise, metaverse will be used exactly for this, that to visualize properties, to feel integrated and feel the space of a property that you're not able to see and feel in real, in real world. To immerse yourself and have this enhanced digital experience, which is more than being on Zoom right now. And expand the potential buyers pool globally, simplify the real estate transfer and recording process by using NFTs for property titles and recording them on blockchain. That was the whole idea about that. I would like to talk a little bit, since I'm here in the US, about the USA PropTech landscape. Half of the market, as I said, and investments in PropTech startups are in the United States. It is a very big market. So obviously, there is a lot of investment also in Asia and in Europe, in PropTech. But it's still half of it. It's here. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the market, which is residential. In the U.S. At the moment, 85% of home buyers and sellers use realtor services. That it's a completely reverse percentage in other parts of the world. I know that for sure. A real estate agent needs licensing. It's different in each state. And the disruption was that some PropTech companies tried to reduce the role of a real estate professional in a transaction or eliminated it altogether. So therefore, even 10 years ago or more, you have seen a lot of iBuyers platforms that proliferated, a discount, fixed price services, and they continue to actually, appear, but a lot of them, they closed down, and especially during the pandemic, when it was extremely difficult to show properties, and you had to establish a relationship with a real estate professional. So other PropTech platforms are, however, are working together with real estate professionals instead of eliminated them. And one of the biggest innovation that we've had and we started here were electronic signatures, MLS, multiple listing services, indexing data, AI for matching clients with properties and agents, transaction management integration, electronic title records, which were done here a while ago, reducing the transaction time frame, and brokerages integration platforms. If you run a brokerage, some of you might know how important it is to be efficient and to see exactly at any moment in time how your agents perform, where your incomes and what is your revenue projection and how many transactions you have on a pipeline. That's very important as well. and also offer agents integrated platforms like one-stop shop type of platforms where they can find contract forms, they can find good marketing materials and widgets and so on and so forth. PropTech global trends in 2025. Data indexing, data silos and indexing, allowing appraisers, evaluators, and real estate agents and investors to better estimate values, indexing real estate as any other traded asset. Blockchain, it will continue to, it's here to stay. I think that you will see more adoption throughout the world. That is also because there will be more adoption of electronic currencies as well. And of course, AI and machine learning. The real estate indexing, I wanted to talk a little bit about it, and I think that that would be an interest for valuers in particular as well, and investors. I think that real estate, if we look at it, has been treated as a different asset class many times and not in correlation between real estate and equities and pricing could be very difficult at the time. So real estate could be indexed and organized into various silos like type of asset, rental income, geolocation, and used as an instrument in investing, predicting, and hedging. So if we are to make an analogy that we could treat real estate like Dow Jones Industrial Average, 30 most prominent companies listed on US stock exchange, and they can be compared to premiered real estate in Manhattan, Malibu, or somewhere in the world, Hong Kong or Bangkok. And you could have like premier tier comparing with growing markets. And this is actually an example for United States. You see, you have, Manhattan, which, it's premier and very well known. And then you're comparing with growing real estate markets, like Austin, Texas, Atlanta. That could help appraisers, banks, investors, real estate agents, and insurance companies, and they will be interesting to treat it that way. The blockchain could be very useful in the future, not just for real estate transactions, but also for brokerage management, for certified inspections, which could be immutable and recorded on a blockchain and could not be tampered or changed. Mortgages, the same. Title recording and entitling the untitled people. Because if we look around the world, there are a lot of people who live in different areas, especially in big cities around the world, and they occupy for generations pieces of land. They're not recorded, and they cannot build generational rent. They could not use that property as a collateral. They could not use anything. They could not do anything with it, and they are at the mercy of the city, who might evict them at any time to erect some new construction and use the eminent domain legislation. So those uses for blockchain could be extended not only in transacting, but they could be really useful in many, many ways, and especially in having everything secure and also in anti-money laundering as well. I think that could be a secure way to transact and praise and do inspections. As I say, the metaverse might reoccur. Trends for 2025. PropTech solutions are streamlining operations and improving efficiency and productivity, and they're unlocking new growth opportunities for real estate professionals. AI and machine learning drive smarter decision-making, automating property management tasks and optimizing building systems. And blockchain is enabling tokenized property assets and secure, transparent transactions, reducing friction in deals. IoT enables smart buildings are optimizing energy use and maintenance through connected sensors and automation. Sustainability is also front and center with green building tech and climate-focused startup rising, the built environment contributes nearly 40% of global carbon dioxide emissions, creating urgency for PropTech solutions in energy efficiency and decarbonization. Overall, 2025's landscape is one of accelerating innovation and growing collaboration between tech disruptors and real estate industry leaders across region. I would say that a lot of us, we came recently from MIPIM, and we also saw different solutions in property building as well. And the overall concern was, again, around ESG and environmental concerns, as well as much as around the affordable housing, building affordable housing around the world. So in that respect, I've heard the mayors of important cities talking about it, and we had the chance to see different solutions offered in PropTech as well. Global PropTech opportunities and challenges, common goals and needs across the globe. I think that it doesn't matter where we come from, because some of the markets are still emerging, some are already big adopters of disruptive technologies. I think we all have very similar problems, and the problems are indeed local, but the PropTech solutions being developed, they do have the capacity of being scaled globally and touching different markets. So those challenges remain: the transaction efficiency, marketing, asset management, fractional investment, indexing, data owning and management. Challenges and differences, the different local legislations, lack of legislation, hard to do an international title transfer, for example, data information, and lack of interoperability. And those are things that they remain, and we all have, in our local market. Global PropTech opportunities and challenges, policies and new laws. We have environmental and extreme climate change pressures, everything from earthquakes to climate change to fires, to wildfires in California. So that actually poses a problem in the insurance industry as well. The global housing shortage, housing affordability. Yes, we're building, but we're not building enough affordable housing. We're building a lot of high rises. And we all know that actually most of the real estate world crisis, they start from actually high rises, from building, very expensive buildings and communities that they don't sell. Sustainable, affordable, and mobile communities, financing solutions, because most people throughout the world are not able to access instruments of credit for buying a property. ESG, environmental, social, and corporate governance, and of course, our commitment to SDG 17. Talking a little bit about ESG, it's a set of aspects considered when investing in companies that recommends taking environmental issues, social issues, and corporate governance issues into account. In fact, at MIPIM right now, we had the second edition of the ESG Awards, Global ESG Awards on categories. And we actually had one of our colleagues who got an award at Modulina, which is a very innovative construction using straw bricks. So Katerina Filipchuk was there, and she was representing Modulina. Congratulations. Since 2020, there have been accelerating incentives from the United Nations to overlay ESG data with the Sustainable Development Goals based on their work, which began way earlier in 1980s. So in less than 20 years, the ESG movement has grown from a corporate social responsibility initiative launched by United Nations into a global phenomenon representing more than 30 trillion in assets under management. And ESGs will continue to be very important to real estate professionals because new legislations will slowly be adopted in different countries and regions. EU, US, certain countries in Asia already require ESG reporting from big companies and government institutions and the real estate assets. A change in investors' behavior. Some will demand ESG reporting when acquiring new real estate assets. And while S and G are harder to capture, the new PropTech platforms will be focusing on the environmental aspect, integrating the ESG with asset management efficiency monitoring. So this is to do not forget the SDG 17. And I would like to end with a smart city because at the end of the day, all these aspects of construction, of planning, of buildings, they will be nothing without creating a coherent, smart, and livable city. After all, we don't just build buildings, but we build communities. And the main goal of a smart city is to optimize city functions and promote economic growth, while also improving the quality of life for citizens by using smart technologies and data analysis. The value lies in how this technology is used rather than simply how much technology is available. So a city's smartness is determined using a set of characteristics, including infrastructure based around technology, environmental initiatives, effective and highly functional public transportation, confident and progressive city plans, and people able to afford to live and work in a city and using its resources. So I think that at the end of the day, the PropTech has to be used in the benefit of the citizen and creating smart and affordable communities. So that's it for right now. Thank you, and I welcome any dialogue and any. I'd like to hear more from you. So thank you.
Alina, I have a question.
Yes.
Are you able to speak about the Estonian government's use of blockchain? Do you have any experience there or knowledge about the pros and cons and how it's going for them?
I do. First of all, I would like to say thank you for the question. That Estonia is a smaller country, so I think that you can afford to try different technologies and and see how it works. So they implemented that at the government level, so you're able to do different things as a citizen for obtaining permitting, to paying your utilities. But I would like to mention that by this account, even Ukraine has this app called Dia that pretty much does the same thing. It's the same concept of blockchain. And they are able to do, I don't know if it's anybody from Ukraine here, maybe Katerina or somebody will be here, but they were able even before the war to have this app where they were able to, even right now, to check themselves safe, to apply for a marriage certificate, death certificate, and so on and so forth, and pay the utilities. But it's also, I think, that convincing the population to use it, you can come up with something like that. But then it's also the process of educating people, and it's an entire reticence when it comes to storing information as well. So I think that some people feel that it's too much information shared, and data privacy, it's also a concern most of the time. It's the same with the smart cities and the amount of cameras that you put everywhere and the way you collect information. So I first, in this respect, that recently the city of Amsterdam decided to actually have less cameras because there were too many, and the citizens complain about the privacy.
I see. So, Madam, there is a question saying that where do property values or appraiser fit in this case, Madam? Where do
Actually,
property valuers and appraiser fit in? Yes.
This is actually would be interested to talk with you and have you talk about it, Dr. Sopon, because I think, as we mentioned and you mentioned, I do a work, and I'm about to launch with my partners a project, a platform in East Africa, in Uganda. And the thing is, you have this chain of problems. You are not able to get financing, and like in Africa in particular, and we'll just take the Uganda example. The mortgage instruments represent about 0.5% of the GDP. And that's not unique, it's in most of Africa, right? It's a little bit more in Rwanda, it's 3.4%, it's 2.2 in Kenya, but it's almost nothing. And why is that? Because even if actually efforts were made to digitalize the title records and they were done, they have no valuation at all, in them. Nothing. There's just no valuation. And then you could be in a situation that you want to purchase a piece of land, and maybe it's a unique piece of land, and you have 3 different banks that they send the valuers, and they hire them, and they have 3 completely different values, like sometimes even being $1 million apart. I think that AI and machine learning will be very important in the way you collect data. I think a lot of scrubbing is necessarily in real estate data. It's not very clean around the world, and that's complicated. So this MVP, right? I'm sure you are familiar with it. It's you can use it. You can use algorithms, but it depends what kind of data you input in, right? And I see that eventually solving the financial problem as well, and the access to credit, because you really cannot lend. You don't know how much to lend if you don't know how much the property it's valued as. So how is it done in Thailand? How is your experience? Because you are very experienced in particular type of unique properties.
Yeah. In Thailand, we also have to do valuation in the field. And recently, we have a big case of big buildings. Government agency bought it at around 200 million US dollar. But also valuer said it is only 100 million, so half price or something. So this dispute going on. So maybe we will bring all related valuers to go to the field together, have the same set of information, so that we can value more properly. But if we have big data, as you suggest, that may be a good idea. Madam, there is a question that for the case of AI, it may not be able to replace brokers or property agents, because I think agents by the National Association of Realtors, they are really big, and they also have a lot of influence in the parliament or something. So it may be difficult to replace brokers or agents. But in the future, is it possible that because of AI, can the buyer and the seller can directly meet with each other and have some smart contract or something, so that they can do business by minimize the role of a broker or not? Is that possible in the future, Madam?
I think that definitely will change, like in every profession, like I live in Silicon Valley, and there are a lot of layoffs in the tech industry right now, just because they are professions that they could be replaced by AI. And right now we have even another generation of AI, the agentic AI, which can act independently, and that can do a job from start to finish. But I have colleagues from the US. I'd like to invite them to say something too. I see Yoshi there. Yoshi, what do you think? Will agents be replaced completely? Maybe the number will be reduced, because I think that the world will belong to the agents that they know how to use AI.
Yes.
They will not be completely replaced.
Yes.
But we need to embrace it and learn how to do it in a more efficient way. They still are things that they cannot be completely replaceable, but yes, probably there will be less real estate agents in the future. Yoshi, what do you think?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, more less people.
Yeah, It's just if those systems will be integrated, as I mentioned, because right now the real estate agents are in the center of everything. They're the ones who will connect and they keep together the transaction by keeping informed the title company, the escrow company, the buyer, the seller. They keep all that together. So if those will be integrated at the regulatory level in the future, so you could have a blockchain where you can put absolutely everything on it, then yes, things will be changing. And I would say the real estate agent will not disappear, but might take on another role. It might be considered like an attorney, for example, and will be paid as a consultant per hour or per project. There probably will be different models of a brokerage and the way you do business. That's my opinion.
I see. Madam, do you work in Kampala, Uganda as well, Madam?
I will, and that is actually in the data technology. Will not actually be selling properties, but what we like to establish there, it's exactly predictive data analytics, in East Africa, trying to find a model that is not necessarily a US model, because I don't think it will go exactly to plug and play exactly like that. But it's based on a Singapore technology that was tried and also because it's the English speaking in East Africa, and there are very similar land laws, very British, and I think that there are commonalities with Singapore, for example. So we're trying that. Using the technology and advancement that Singapore has. By the way, Singapore does have blockchain actually for everything that's a new construction. It's right now recorded on blockchain with very serious anti-money laundering systems in place as well. But they do have it.
I went to conduct some teaching on mass appraisal in Uganda, in Kampala for 2 weeks.
You did? When? When?
A few years ago in
Well, you have
Kampala.
to come back. We'll invite you. Was it with the appraiser?
With the Kampala municipality. They hired me to be there for 2 weeks, teaching about computer-assisted mass appraisal over there. Yeah. Madam,
I think the people are very well prepared in Kampala. Very,
their
very
English is
knowledgeable.
great. They speak
Very
English.
knowledgeable.
Very good. Yeah. Madam, when you talk about the real estate indexing, can you kindly elaborate again about the real estate indexing? How AI do this again, Madam?
I think that every country probably has a real estate index, right? You have one in Thailand as well. You have an index, but it depends what kind of data you put in the index as well, because every index will work based on data. Whatever data you will feed the index with. So the analogy I was making is that how you can create a very compelling and comparative index, just like you have with the with the stock market. You'll have the top Fortune companies, and then you have the startups or up and coming, and then you have newly public companies. So you have different kind of categories. And I think that neighborhoods and cities could be considered like that. Like, for example, you have superstar cities where whatever you do, the value of real estate will not fluctuate with more or less than 20%. There are cities like that in the world, like London, New York, and others, right? And then you have another tier of cities, that they're developing and they have room to grow, so you can develop them not necessarily by geographic location, but yes, you can consider the geopolitical environment and legislation and everything and trends and growth, and you can rate them that way, and you can consider them just like you will rate companies on a stock exchange. So you can do that, if you will. How I see it, it's like an exchange of real estate markets.
Let's see. Then I saw Madam Carol Whitney, consultant, the resident consultant from New Zealand. My Mr. Clayton Wade from USA, but he's staying in Bangkok.
Hello.
Hello. Do you have any question, Madam? Do you have
Well,
any question?
we've had a terrible time here, but it's just coming right.
Uh-huh.
And that's why I haven't been to Thailand. I miss you.
Okay. Yeah. So if you
I
have any
miss you a
question,
lot.
yeah, we miss you too. Mr. Ilik Park, our professor, Dr. Ilik Park from Korea. Any questions so far?
Yeah, I enjoyed the presentations. However, just I had some research before. Based on the research, every country has a difficulty to adopt the blockchain. Not only just real estate business, but also its government, the administration, because the existing government organization, they like to keep their own advantage. So just in case that they adopted the blockchain, some of the jobs will be lost, and also some technical, not only just technical aspect, but also economic or administrative aspect. Not easy. Even in Korea, they try to adopt
You're
the
right.
blockchain, but really it will take time. And yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's the same in the US. It's not possible and is not done yet. Exactly because what I was mentioning, because of the regulations, every segment of it is regulated by a different body and they don't necessarily communicate. So you are right. Some countries may not want to rush it, but it would be interesting if, for example, they will put the securities on the blockchain, the mortgage securities in the US. If this administration is pushing it, it's also interesting to see if they will switch the National Reserve, if they will buy more currency that it's not necessarily just Bitcoin, but mostly Bitcoin. But I think that right now you can use the electronic currency. Every country will have it, and it could be in the middle of the blockchain, or you can use fiat currencies as well. But it's not happening overnight. You're absolutely right.
Yes, sir. And Miss Ray Obaigbo, any comment or something? And we have some in from India, Mr. Satish, as well. Miss Ray Obaigbo, any question? You may kindly share with us, Mr. Virek.
No,
Yeah,
no comments
certainly.
from me. Thank you.
Yeah,
But it was very enlightening
we
hear
will
from
go to see you.
Alina. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Hi,
for the
Ray.
World Congress, So anyone kindly injection for the yellow fever. I have to go today, and then I register.
Oh yes, maybe Ray can tell us about the Congress. Like
Yeah.
any other details and inviting everyone.
Oh yes, preparations for the June World Congress is ongoing. We're expecting everybody to come to Lagos, Nigeria. It's going to be from the 9th. It's going to be from the 9th of June to the 13th of June, and Nigeria is getting ready to host the world. It's really exciting. We're really, really excited about it, and we can't wait for it. Hopefully, Elena, you're going to share some more about the topic, about what we talked, what you presented today, and more people can also interact during the sessions. I know we have a PropTech session. We're going to talk about AI
Right.
and sustainability and global trends in the real estate industry, and we're all excited about it.
Yeah, Dr. Aeby should join
That's true.
to speak over
we
there.
are preparing actually together to have more guests and also more Pan-African guests for the PropTech session, under it. That would be very interesting because we'll really find out directly from different PropTech founders and in Nigeria and hopefully in other African countries about specific products and challenges in their markets, and that would be very interesting.
Yes.
We had a great one last year too, and it was very good. We actually had a really good PropTech session, and I learned a lot about the Nigerian PropTech. It's happening, and fintech as well.
Yeah. So everyone should go to Nigeria. Maybe Miss Ray, show yourself, show your face, please. The people will remember you when we go to Nigeria.
When we come to Nigeria. Okay, I'll do that now. Just give me a minute, please.
Yeah.
It was great. I went last year and I had a great experience. It was very well organized, and as I mentioned, we had a very good half-day PropTech workshop, and it was very good.
Oh, you were in Nigeria already?
Yes, I was
Oh,
last year.
in my
So I'm happy to
67
come
years
back.
of life, I never been there. This will be my first time.
Well, you went in East Africa. Now you have to come to West Africa as
Yeah,
well, right?
you-
Since you went to Kampala. We need to talk more about Kampala, actually. I want to find out more about you off the yes, of the record.
Yeah, it is about the mass appraisal or something, automated valuation model or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Miss Ray, are
Right.
you ready so that our colleagues can see you? Okay.
Yes, I think I am ready. Hold on.
Yes. Yes. I remember you are like a movie star. When we met in uh, Oxford, University of Oxford,
Yes,
to get the certificate together.
and we're currently looking forward to having everybody in Lagos in June in Lagos, Nigeria. All excited about it. So really looking forward to it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So if there is nothing, Madam Dr. Aeby, do you have any words for closing this session, Madam?
Yes. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then I'd like to thank you all. You've been a wonderful audience. I really appreciate your attention. It's a subject that it's continuously changing. I'm still learning. You have to learn every day. Is every day something new. Taking courses, for example, the certification I got at Berkeley in 2020 on blockchain, it's so changed right now, honestly. And it's always something to learn, something more. Here is Ray.
Miss Ray. Yeah. So this session is materialized because of Mr. Rusmin Lavin, our president of the World Asia, president of Asia Pacific Committee. He kindly introduced me to Dr. Aeby. That's why we can organize this. So thanks Dr. Aeby and also Mr. Rusmin Lavin from Indonesia. He is a very important man in our FIABCI family. And before we leave, allow me to tell you that in April, on Wednesday, April 23rd, will be another FIABCI April webinar on innovation in real estate appraisal. And ladies, and this is another lady, is Madam Paula K. Konikoff. I think it maybe come from Europe, but she's an American. She is an MAI, and she is also the 2025 president of the Appraisal Institute. This is really great institute indeed, the Appraisal Institute. So she will talk on Wednesday, 23rd of April, at around 7 p.m. in California time. 7 p.m. in California time. So this is another case. And another rush case is that we will have another case on the effect of earthquake. That will be Dr. Omraj Bandari from Nepal, and another man I would like to invite from Japan and some other to talk about the effect of this and what is about the property price after the big earthquake. People may be scared of being in the high-rise condominium or not, and what to do. So this will happen this coming Wednesday, April 2nd. This is a very urgent case. So I will inform all our participants as soon as possible after this session so that everyone can join. So this is our webinar from the FIABCI World Council of Experts that organize every month. But this month we have two webinars because of the urgency of this earthquake. So thank you, Madam Aeby, Dr. Aeby, for this session today. You are really great and beautiful. And I hope to see you again in Nigeria this coming June.
Thank you
And
so
bye-bye.
much.
Yeah.
It's my pleasure, and thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I had
Thank
a
you,
wonderful time.
Yeah, thank you. Good night,
Thank
madam.
you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. See you, everybody. Thank you. Yeah, bye
Thank
bye.
you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, good day.
Goodbye.
Yeah, bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.